It started after tragedy, the crash of Eastern Airlines Flight 401. But the hauntings didn't end in the sky. They came home to the hangar. In the cavernous quiet of the maintenance hangars, long after the day crews had gone home, a subtle but persistent unease began to take root. It started with sounds that didn't belong. Workers on the graveyard shift reported hearing the distinct sound of footsteps echoing through the empty bays. Not random scuffs, but the measured tread of someone walking with purpose. Then, inanimate objects began to move. Tools left secured on workbenches would be found on the floor, as if knocked over by a careless hand that was never there. Most chillingly, faint, disembodied voices would crackle over the intercom systems, calling for routine maintenance checks on specific galley components or warning of a non-existent fire in the cargo hold. The calls were professional, calm, and utterly inexplicable, because no one was ever on the other end of the line. Faint intercom. Unintelligible. Call to action. If true ghost stories and real haunted places fascinate you, subscribe now. We uncover the world's darkest hauntings. The legend that began to circulate was as persistent as it was unsettling. Some say the spirits were the crew of Flight 401, particularly Captain Bob Loft and Second Officer Don Repo. They were men who had dedicated their lives to Eastern Airlines, and it seemed that not even death could sever that bond. The stories suggested a profound, almost supernatural loyalty, a crew still on duty. These weren't tales of malevolent phantoms. Instead, the apparitions were often seen as guardians, pointing out potential mechanical failures or appearing on other flights to warn of problems with the salvaged equipment. Of course, skeptics offered rational explanations. Fatigue, tricks of the light, the power of suggestion in a grieving workforce. But the reports were too numerous, too consistent to be dismissed entirely. Whether you believe it or not, the story of Eastern's phantom workers became an indelible part of aviation lore, a chilling reminder that some duties and some loyalties may truly last forever. The hangar falls silent after the last of the day crew departs. It's a cathedral of steel and shadow, vast and seemingly empty. But is it truly empty? The story of Eastern Airlines Flight 401 began with a tragic descent from the sky, but its final lingering chapter is written here, on the ground. This is where the salvaged parts of the fallen L-1011 were brought, and with them, something else. An echo, a presence that refused to fade. For years, night shift workers have shared stories in hushed tones. They speak of the distinct sound of heavy work boots on concrete, pacing with a purpose that no living person can see. They report the sharp, sudden clatter of a tool falling from a bench in a sealed-off bay, or the disembodied crackle of a voice over an intercom system that's been powered down for the night. These aren't tales of terror, but of an unending watch. Many believe the spirits of Captain Bob Loft and Second Officer Don Repo remain forever bound to their duty, still overseeing the safety of the fleet. The lights go out, the doors are locked, but in the quiet heart of the hangar, the crew of Flight 401 is still on duty.